back to you, Miss Lovett. So you said your Odogwu must know how to cook. Are there other things you want your Odogwu to be able to do?
Little of everything.
What are those things?
My Odogwu should know how to clean too. Anything can happen. Okay? My Odogwu should know how to run errands. That doesn't mean that you'll be my errand boy. Okay? That doesn't mean that you'll be the cleaner. That doesn't mean that you'll be the car washer. That doesn't mean that you'll be the one to be going for the groceries. But you should know how to do all these things.
Okay.
I might be away for vacation.
Okay.
Who will rescue you?
Okay.
You should know how to fix these things for yourself.
So Pastor talked about how we should determine who an Odogwu is. That's the swag room, yes? So the singles who think that going to a club, popping champagne, smoking, taking weed, and the rest, they term those guys as Odogwus. Yes, some persons look at their men and they know they have all these things, they do all these things, and they still call them Odogwu. They still say they are Odogwus.
You know, people give meanings based on who they are. It's your perspective that determines the definitions you give to things. How can you look at a man who involves in smoking weed and Odogwu? It's criminal. In case you don't know, smoking of narcotics, even carrying it around, it's criminal. And a criminal cannot be an Odogwu. Did you hear me so? You guys have gone quiet because I'm entering your 18 now. You make excuses. Pastor, there's nothing there. There's nothing harmful. It makes them relax. Come on, guys. It's criminal. Number one. Number two, there are some things you do that decreases your mental capacity.
Yeah.
Narcotics does that. And oftentimes when people smoke some certain things, it makes them behave in a way that normally they shouldn't behave in. They lose their inhibitions. An Odogwu is someone who is always alert, who is conscious of his environment, who is very decisive and intentional about his actions and his intentions. Did you hear me so?
So how do I know an Odogwu? There are some persons that would say, oh, I want to visit my boyfriend. Must I go to his house and see him behave? Because there are some persons that hide these qualities. There are some persons that hide these things they do.
First of all, you don't marry in a hurry, number one. You date. Now, there's a difference between dating and courting. Dating is platonic. Dating, no commitment. There's nothing attached to it. It's a period that you get to know each other. You mustn't go to the person's house to know the person. You talk. You follow the person up on social media. You guys discuss. You hang out with people. Because once you visit the house, there are likelihood that things may happen. And once those things happen that shouldn't happen, you break the protocol. So you now jump from dating to marriage because you're already doing in dating what married people are doing. So you now lose the capacity and the opportunity to discover who the person is actually. Okay. So it's when you start dating, let's know each other. We talk. What do you do? Your likes. Can I know a bit about your history? What's your drive? What's your motivation? You do things together. You do things that will annoy him, and you react. You wait to see how he or she will react. Amen.
Okay.
Can I tell you something? There was a girl I wanted to marry. Shall I tell you the story?
Go ahead, sir.
You guys like gossip, eh? So one day we were going, she told her uncle that there's this man that wants to marry her. And the man asked her the person's name, and she mentioned my name. She said, I know him, he's a madman. What happened? The man was working for a bank, and my father did business with that bank, and my father was owing the bank, and the case was in court. But before the court could give their judgment, this bank came with policemen. This banker came with a policeman and a buyer to sell the property. And that day I was at home. So I told them, then I was a law student, I told them to go, that the case is still in court.
Yeah.
They say, who are you? They just pushed me aside and they started measuring the compound to sell it.
Okay.
So I ran, to the backyard and got a cutlass. And I brandished it and made noise with it. And they were running, I was chasing them. So that man was sure that this guy is mad. So you can imagine when her niece told him that she wanted to get married to such a person. He said, no, don't go there. He's a mad man. He's violent.
Then how do we know if we don't visit these people, if we don't go to their houses? I think I want to get a lady's perspective.
Hold on, let me say that.
Okay.
Don't visit a man that you are dating alone.
That means I have to go to his house with a friend?
With a friend, or a sister, or a brother. Let me tell you why. I'm sure what I'm saying is not popular, but he has saved a lot of lives, a lot of marriages. Some girls got raped in the process.
Okay.
Some got into doing things they never wanted to do. For crying out loud, you are dating this guy, you don't really know who he is. You don't even know the company he keeps. You don't even know whether he's a ritualist. And you're not visiting his house alone. And some of you may even sleep over. Some of you may even start cooking and washing. You are still dating. He has not proposed to you. Understand?
Yes.
So we must know the difference between dating, courting, and marriage. In dating, you don't do those kind of things.
Okay. But then, Miss Lovett, what do you think? Do you think you should visit a man during the dating stage, the courting stage? Do you think you should actually go to his house to be able to ascertain who he is and the qualities of this Odogwu we're talking about?
The problem is that we make excuses where we are not supposed to. If you can strike a genuine conversation with somebody, you can pinpoint what the person can do and what the person can't. But most of the times we say, no, he didn't mean it. But like Igbo people will say, "Mba na-akpa nganga ka a na-ekwu eziokwu." When people are playing, it's actually when they are showing you their true character. That is when they are saying the truth. Okay? If you can be conversing with this person on the phone, maybe in a public places, you should be able to know what the person is up to.
After a while.
Okay, I've related with some persons and they will tell you that, oh, I met this man and I have been with him for the past 3 months and he's been pretending.
People can pretend for 2 years.
Exactly.
So if we are, talking about that, it's not just physical, it's also spiritual.
Okay.
You start praying. There was somebody I wanted to, those days I wanted to get married. So this person I was dating, and I was asking God, please, is she the one? I actually prayed and fasted for 7 days. I said, if she's not the one, show me. If the one, show me. In 7 days, I prayed and fasted for 7 days. And on the 7th day, he showed me. Something happened, I don't want to share it right now. I saw it and I knew she was not my wife. Oftentimes people jump into these things without asking God. Now, okay, that you went to his house and the house is clean. That he sweeps the house, he washes it, he even served you food that he cooked. Does it mean that he likes to cook?
No.
Does it mean that he's the one that even swept the house?
Can actually be doing it for the moment.
He can be putting up a show for you.
Okay.
There's a lady that came to me for counseling and she told me that when she wanted to marry her husband, she has sordid stories. When she wanted to marry her husband, her family members said, don't marry this guy. But she refused. I said, why? She said, because the guy came carrying Bible.
Okay.
And so she was swayed. The guy was behaving well. So when they now got married and the guy changed, so she now asked him, how come you changed? He said, because I wanted to marry you. I pretended so I can marry you. Now that I've married you, this is my true color. That reminds me of a joke I crack all the time. Somebody died and got to heaven, and they told him, before you go to heaven, you can choose either to go to hell or to heaven. So he said, okay, you want to visit heaven and also visit hell before he chooses where to go to. So they opened the door for him for heaven. He entered the heaven. Heaven was pristine. It was quiet. It was clean. People were singing everywhere, holy, 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 holy. And it was dull for him. He said, can I see hell? They took him to hell, and there was a party going on in hell.
Okay.
And people were dancing, drinking, eating. They were vibing, you know what I mean? He said, wow, hell looks like a fun place to be. So he chose hell. So by the time he now chose hell, they now took him to hell. Immediately he entered hell, he now saw another picture of hell. He saw people crying and gnashing their teeth. People were being tormented. So he asked Mr. Devil, what happened to the party I just saw? The devil laughed and said, we are marketing. So the party he saw, we are marketing. Now we have gotten you in. This is the real deal. So oftentimes, we are spiritual beings, so some things must be discerned by the Spirit. As you are using your mental capacity to check a few things, pray. Ask the Spirit of God to open your eyes.
Okay.
That's why I said going to the house. You may join from point 1 to point 3. And once you join from point 1 to point 3, no matter what the Spirit of God is saying to you, you will not hear it again. Because emotionally you are now attached. You cross Olame Road. Understand? You have crossed the Rubicon, as it were. That's why you have to keep it platonic. You have to be alert. Because marriage is not dating. Marriage is not 2 days. Marriage is a lifetime. You have to be prayerful about it. And you can't be living anyhow and say you are being prayerful. Am I making sense now?
Yes.
You can't be, you know what I mean, misbehaving, and you say you are asking God to show you whether he's the person. You won't see anything. All that you will see will be your desires.
Okay, that's good. So, now we've been able to ascertain who an Odogwu is.
No, I thought you have asked me whether Odogwu is a man who can last in bed for 2 hours.
I'm coming to that. So now, we've been able to ascertain who an Odogwu is. First of all, yes. Now, if a woman has like 1, 2, 3 Odogwus, or people she thinks are Odogwus, how can she make a decision and say, okay, I think I should go with this person?
If the 3 of them meet this criteria, she can go with any of them that she loves the most.
Okay, all right. So let's come back to that question. Should an Odogwu be able to last in bed? If he cannot last in bed, should he be called an Odogwu?
How will you know that whether he can last in bed or not?
Exactly. You said we should not visit.
How will you know? How will you know whether he lasts in bed or not?
You said we should not visit him. Okay? You said we should not go to their houses.
So the reason why you're going there is to know whether he can last in bed.
Some persons go to find out if he can last in bed. I've heard some women say, I cannot marry somebody who does not have it like this or who does not have it like that. Do you get? There are people who say those things.
I hear you. I hear you. Hear this.